2D array creation from our tiled prefab. So that was something I worked on, and also able to move with mouse clicking and then following a path using A-star pathfinding. So it's pretty cool. Let me just show you a quick demo. So we just go to our first world here, our zone, and right now we can click where we want to go, and our character will move around. We can go to the dialogue in the conversation, go back here, move around some more, leave this world, go to the forest, and move around the forest. So it's pretty cool. So you can see what's using, it does some pathfinding and it moves around objects that have collision. Right now it's just using just up, down, left, and right movement. It doesn't have diagonals, so I think there are A-star versions that have diagonal movement that I might want to put in there. It's still a little rough because the collision in the map doesn't always totally line up with the collision the tile set generates, so you can sometimes click a spot that should be useful and then it won't go there, things like that. But overall it works pretty good. So you can see here it says I'm trying to click on these rocks but it won't go to it. So let me just show you how it's built real quick, which is it's pretty cool. So stop this guy. Go to the script. So it's pretty much all done in script. So basically there's two parts. So we had our tile map. So originally a tile map just had a list of bounds. So what we added was this tile array. So this is a 2D array of tile object. Tile object is pretty much just an XY coordinate and then a boolean if it's empty or not. And this thing here is just a static reference we're using. But really the thing that matters is just the boolean, empty or not. So how do we construct this tile array given our prefab, which is basically just a collision balance? So the key is when we load this guy, this method here, load tile array. So let me get this full screen here. So basically we get our bounds, and one thing we're doing is we're using the renderer bounds. So the renderer actually takes into account the camera, so it gives you the actual size in pixels on the screen of the bounds. Otherwise you're going to get some crazy value that's much too large, and the math will be all off. So renderer bounds is pretty key. Then basically just using the size, x and y, we divide by our tile size, which is 0.5, and we get our tile size, width, and height. Alright, so that's going to give you the dimensions of the tile map. Then you just do your nested loop, iterate through there, and here's the calculation that matters, right? So one very important thing to note is the y coordinate is flipped. So the x coordinate's normal because the tile map is at 0, 0. But the y coordinate is flipped because when you look at where the tile map prefab gets added to the scene, when you add it, let me just show you here. Let me zoom in here. So here's the origin of 0, 0, and the prefab is down here, right? So the x coordinates are normal, but the y's are negative. Right, so our map is in negative y's. So what we have to do is when we create our actual array, we have to flip the y's so that the coordinates in the 2D array are positive. So that's one thing that took a little bit to figure out. So it's flipping the prefab map y on the y-axis. So basically we find where the center is for this tile, and the bounds is going to be tile size by tile size. And then basically we determine if there's collision on that bounds. and we check the collision, the same exact collision method that was used for movement. We just say, is there a collision-bound rectangle at that spot? If so, it's not empty. Otherwise it's empty. And then we create our tile and add it to the array. And this string tile array was just kind of for testing. It will build a string representation of the tile set, which is actually kind of cool. So the way I